When someone mentions the Ice Age, the woolly mammoth is the first thing that comes to mind. It's also one of the animals the media would have you think went extinct because of humans alone, when that's kind of been debunked, and had more so to do with environmental conditions, but we did have something to do with it. Whatever the reason is, humans can't seem to let the things rest. Since in less than a decade scientists plan to bring them back to life, it's not as though there are countless movies showing us why this could be a bad idea, and even if we bring them back, the Earth's getting warmer at a faster rate compared to back then. Anyway, enough trivia. Mammoths have been shown in a fair amount of movies and series, but in majority of those films they've either just been background animals or slaves. So I added some from video games to make it more excitable. The 10-ton weight estimate for a woolly mammoth is no longer valid since they weigh around the same as an African elephant, but the ones we have on this list push 20 tons in weight and have enough strength to hold an iceberg that weighs hundreds of tons in place. That's right folks, in this video, we're going to be looking at the most powerful mammoths in cinema. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on videos like this. And you can leave a comment on what you would like to see next. Maybe it will be in a future video, and if you don't like the content, you can always unsubscribe. With that introduction out of the way, let's get into the most powerful mammoths in media. How could he not be on the list, Raymond? I mean, Manfred is one of the main characters in Ice Age, which along with Shrek was my favorite movie growing up, although it fell off after part 3 in my opinion. The first Ice Age will always be the best. It's where the legendary trio met up and formed a close bond. They really didn't do the Ice Age movies justice by releasing this. Early on in the movie, Manny shows off his power by not just lifting, but throwing 2 prehistoric rhinos into the air. Both, if we're being scientifically accurate, should be 3 tons or a little heavier, but they're definitely heavier in this movie, so we'll bump it up to more than 4.5. Manny launches one of them more than 100 feet away from him. I'm sure even the strongest people on Earth can't launch something a fifth of their weight, more than 50 feet. And his tusks are also very durable, because while these are technically exposed teeth and enamel is one of the strongest material made by the body, they're still at risk from breaking off from too much pressure, but not Manny's. In the first movie, Manny is 10 tons, which is big, but that doesn't make his feats less impressive. This guy is also immune to fall damage to some extent. He falls onto a sheet of ice that was on a lava lake and is shot up hundreds of feet into the air and falls down on the ground with just some dizziness as a side effect. Once anything reaches over the 3-ton range, high falls are almost certainly a death sentence. Like if an African elephant was dropped from 40 feet, its legs would be taken out. He can't just perform well on land though, his feet extend to the water. When Manny is attacked by Cretaceous and Maelstrom, he holds his own. You guys are gonna help me out with what those two are, by the way. Some say Cretaceous is a Metri, and some says he's an Ichthyosaur, while some say Maelstrom is a Globidens or a Pliosaur. Either way, this scene reminded me just how big Maelstrom is. He is bigger than Manny yet very compact, so he's 11 tons or more. Manny is able to take a hit head on from this thing and not go unconscious, and he takes hits from Cretaceous as well, with him being able to soccer kick one of them while underwater and swim up for air. Not only that, but he's able to keep swimming at a good pace in order to trick them into hitting the piece of wood that was holding the rocks in place that trapped Ellie. When I was young and someone pulled me under the water as a joke or something, all my oxygen would be used up immediately from panicking, so I could never have a fight in the water. In continental drift, Manny is now 11 tons, and with just a 1-ton weight increase, he's able to pull off some amazing feats. Either that, or he was always this strong. While stealing back the ship from Captain Guts, Diego was pinned down by Shira and Manny. For almost a minute was able to hold the iceberg weighing hundreds of tons in place. He probably would have held it there for a bit more if the wood didn't break, but I guess we'll never know. On top of that, he sent a 5-ton or more ape flying for almost 1,000 feet. Like he was playing baseball. He's dexterous and agile for his size too. The dude can use his trunk to fight a nimble ape with a sword, and uses his tusk as shield when the time calls for it. The guy even destroyed a big branch holding 15 tons worth of stone. One of the best things about Manny though, at least to me, is that he can gallop almost like a horse when he gets ready. Most of the time he runs the way you think, but sometimes when he really wants to put it into hyperdrive, he can probably put a derby horse to shame, and for something weighing 11 tons, that's a feat on its own. This guy has endured things that would kill a real-life mammoth 10 times over and is able to produce some damage that just should not be possible. The next mammoth is not quite as flashy, but its massive size allows it to tank explosions and scare some of the largest theropods so badly that their attacks deal less damage after. It's been a while since an arc creature was mentioned in one of these videos, and when I say a while, I mean like 2 or 3 videos ago. I don't know, I lost count. Ark's the game that makes all of our PCs cry, and is a survival game that requires you to tame creatures and craft high level items so you can defeat map bosses and ascend to another map, which will now probably cost you $40 or more since Snail Games is apparently running the game into the ground. Ark has notoriously oversized creatures, with the Giganotosaurus being the most popular example, weighing more than 450 tons, twice the weight of the largest blue whales. The mammoth is bigger than its real-life counterpart by a fair amount, but in my opinion it isn't Ark big. With how this game upsizes creatures, I thought it would have been almost double the in-game size. At 20 tons or more, it still is pretty big and uses that bulk to defend itself, because in the snow biome everything aggroes to these guys despite their size. It kind of does get annihilated by a large pack of dire wolves. But the wolves in this game are on roids. When they do their battle cry, however, it significantly gives a debuff to the stats of any carnivores trying to kill it, whether I be a Rex, Sabertooth or Eutyrannus. This cry is able to scare some of the largest carnivores in the game so badly that they aren't able to do their full damage. Like most large Ark creatures, they can take a fair amount of bullets and the occasional rocket launcher, and if it's a high level it can take even more damage. They have 4 gnarly tusks that can send certain creatures flying, and these guys have the ability to pick up something the size of a parasaur with its trunk and slam it on the ground until it sees the other side. When tamed, these guys can buff the stats of creatures in the same tribe, not as much as the Eutyrannus, but still a decent amount. It can also carry much more wood compared to other creatures of its size or even larger, which is why it's used by a lot of people as a wood gatherer in the game, and as a battle mount for tribes that have their bases near the snowy biome. While it does have size, I'm not sure just how well it would do against Manny. I mean, it is almost 2 times larger, but its size is just about the only thing it has really going for it, since Manny can analyze the terrain around him and use it to his advantage, and Manny can probably match if not outperform it in terms of power. Regardless, it still is one of the stronger mammoths out there. I mean, how many do you know can make a T-Rex so scared that it can't even attack properly? The next mammoths have both size and some amount of battle intelligence, and they need it since they live in a world that is much harsher than Ark's biomes. Primal is the best dinosaur-related series ever shown on screen, aside from OG Primeval. The show has spiders bigger than a house and eldritch horrors capable of manipulating reality and draining the life essence of men while making them pregnant. It's mostly about the journey of a female T-Rex called Fang and a caveman called Spear, who travel around the world together after both of their families were killed by these red tyrannosaur subspecies. These guys have been through a lot and have almost died a fair amount of times. However, only a couple of other instances have been as dangerous for these guys, like the mammoth herd showing up. Firstly, Primal is one of those shows where the creature's size changes at different shots and periods. Fang is one example, but most of the time she's a steady 6 to 7 tons. The first time they met a mammoth was when they were in the tundra and decided to hunt a very elderly and sick mammoth who was alone. This thing, while being in the condition it was, is able to take a spear to the spine and throw Fang off a small slope. Then, even as Spear is bashing a rock into this thing's head while Fang is also biting down on its vitals, it continues to try to fight, only until Spear uses all his strength to finish the old mammoth off in one blow. The mammoths in this show are very intelligent and mournful, with them tracking Spear and Fang for an entire day, because they didn't have a tusk of their fallen herd member to mourn. When these guys first show up, they look 10 times bigger than Fang, but that was due to perspective. They still are big, weighing as much as Ark's mammoth or even slightly larger. Spear and Fang have fought demons, thousands of raptors and armies, with war elephants bigger than these guys, but they still couldn't kill a healthy adult mammoth as easily as they did the war elephants. These fuzzy elephants can bulldoze through snow like a snowplower with no resistance, and can take a fall from a decent drop. Not to mention in the beginning, where they were able to destroy an entire cave. I mean, they were big, but even at that size, the only thing that should have been able to do that were the weird worm things from the movie Tremor. When it comes to teamwork, these guys have it in spades, with the matriarch pinning Fang against the head of another mammoth, where they use their sheer size and power to crush every bone in the female tyrannosaur's body. It took Spear bursting out from a pile of rubble to divert their attention and charge at him. Now, these guys were one of the boss level threats that would have ended the entire series early if Spear didn't pull out the thing they wanted. They didn't really care that Spear and Fang killed their fallen member for food, since they probably know it's just the food chain. They just wanted a tusk to put in their graveyard to remember him, similarly to modern elephants today. I think the herd knew that the old mammoth would likely die as bad as it sounds, because he couldn't keep up with the herd in the blizzard, and everyone else was probably trying their hardest not to die as well. When compared to some of the monsters Primal has, these guys aren't exactly competition for some of them, But their own abilities make them very powerful. I mean, if an old and sickly mammoth was able to put up this much of a fight against a T-Rex, that probably has the most powerful bite force of any we've seen on televisions despite her size and take multiple blunt blows from a rock, then a healthy bull would have been a boss battle on its own. The last mammoth is from a game I really wanted as a kid, because the trailer alone made these guys look like absolute units. Far Cry Primal was a game I really wanted when it came out. I knew there were other Far Cry games, but as someone who loved anything prehistoric as a child, seeing an open world game trailer where you could tame saber-toothed cats made me lose my mind. I mean, there was Ark, but back then I didn't even know what a gaming PC was. And, well, to play Far Cry Primal you needed a PS4, which my parents felt wasn't necessary since I had a tablet, and hey, you can't blame them. I did get to play the game a few times at my friend's house though, and the biggest bane to my existence was running into a rhino by accident. The mammoths in this game, however, hit the hardest, which is to be expected, but when these guys hit you and you hear the sound effects as you're being hit, it makes a person uneasy. The mammoths are the first creatures we see in the game when a hunt is being done by the Wenja people and they manage to take one down, but Diego comes and kills everyone except Takar, who is the main character and has to defeat the Odam leader to free his people or something. These guys are pretty big and powerful, but like other creatures of the game, this one has a boss variant, with the mammoth version being the Bloodtusk mammoth. This thing is about the size of Primal's mammoths, but much more aggressive. It has the rage of the infected sauropod. You know what, I take that back. Nothing beats that thing. But the mammoth is pretty close. This thing kills multiple people on its rampage and destroys any home or barrier in its way. Its size allows it to destroy ice bridges that could damage or slice his back. Like, even at this size, I don't think something's supposed to break those that easily. The Bloodtusk mammoth can take a beating too. It can be set on fire with arrows and spears, and the health bar barely goes down. I mean, this thing could have dozens of flaming spears and arrows in its body, and still move strong as though they're just splinters that cause a minor inconvenience. If anything, they get the thing more pissed off. The most terrifying thing about this mammoth, however, is its speed. This guy runs way faster than you, and even if you're on a mount such as a saber-tooth, which is one of the fastest mounts in the game, it can still outrun you, so this mammoth can run at more than 40 miles per hour. And when it moves, the entire earth shakes. No other boss can instill as much fear into you as this thing. I mean, imagine hearing this as you're trying to run away and the steps keep getting closer and closer. In terms of showing pure destructiveness, I think this mammoth wins. I mean, if it comes down to it, Manfred might be stronger, but he hasn't been nearly as destructive as this guy. Any barriers in this way immediately get bashed. And there is no such thing as a dead end to this thing. It always finds a way to break through every obstacle, whether it be man-made or Mother Nature's strongest. Unlike other games or movies that depict mammoths as these relatively peaceful herbivores that you can just walk by and will only attack you if you attack them, Far Cry's mammoths will chase you to the end of the earth if they sense you, and may the Lord have mercy on your soul if it's a group of them. Just like the Bloodtusk mammoth, the normal mammoths are way faster than you, and will just keep hitting you over and over unless you go to a height where they can't reach you, or use one of the tames as a sacrifice or something. One fun thing you can do though is lead them to another tribe or village, and they will level every hut or structure while murdering all the people there unless it's killed. So as far as mammoths go, these guys definitely win in terms of aggressiveness. That's just about going to do it for this video, folks. I hope you like it. Now, if I had to pick the strongest one on this list, it would either be Manny or the Bloodtusk mammoth. Manny might be smaller, but has some insane strength and feats, while the Bloodtusk mammoth has raw size and rage to push it through. Let me know in the comments who you think is the strongest in the bunch. There should be another poll right after this video is uploaded for you guys to pick Saturday's video, and for the guy who keeps asking for the flying reptiles video, I'll get it out next week. Mostly because I fear you'll kidnap me in my sleep and force me to make the video. As for the rest of you, keep the suggestions coming. I'll try to do as much as I can. But remember, I'm still just one person, and there's only so many videos I can make at a time. So with that said, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.